Hey everybody. Today we're talking about pants, pant selection, sizing, how to select all this stuff. Sorry for the shaking cam. I couldn't find my wire to tie all this stuff up. So, starting out, we're going to go from feet to waist. We're going to start with blousing your boots. Why would you blouse your boots? So you blouse your boots to keep creepy crawlies from coming up your legs onto your bare skin. There's lots of bugs that can hurt you if they get to your bare skin because they recognize skin for some reason comparatively to fabric, or they maybe just try to sting fabric and it doesn't ever work. I don't know. I'm not big on insects. So you can blouse your boots in a few ways. You can use a blousing band, which is essentially a rubber band style of shot cord where it's intertwined, weaved shot cord of sort, and it has two little hooks on the end, hooks to itself, and you do it around your ankle. That works great. But there's other alternative methods that don't require you to maintain a really small piece of material, because those get lost super easy. You find them all over the military base just lying on the ground. But yeah, so you can blouse your boots with the sock method, and for the Marines, nobody can tell that you're blousing them with your socks. Did that for quite a while just to see if anybody would get on to me, and nobody did. So blousing with your socks, you throw the pants to your ankles, you have the socks go as high up your calves as possible. You fold them in like you normally would over a boot blousing, and then you put the sock over this inside portion, this portion of the pants with it folded in, and it creates a pretty nice seal. The problem is the socks don't always stay. There's another solution for that, is you can use the string method as a combination, and the string method can be done with laces or string or whatever, but laces work pretty well. I recommend doing this over the boot section, not over your skin section. Otherwise you create a essentially cinch. As you sweat, as it gets hot, your skin swells and you create a blood restricting flow to your feet, which is not good. So with this method, you need to be careful since you're using something that doesn't flex. That's why boot bands are essentially shot cord. They expand and contract. Piece of shit. We're gonna keep rolling though. What a piece of... Okay, whatever. What a piece of junk. Oh, it got hot. That's probably why it's on clearance. It's a piece of shit. Anyways, so you can blouse your boots by running the string up through the pants, around the socks, and you just run around the socks and you create a small little knot of sorts. I don't recommend anything super strong, but if you have tall enough socks, this shouldn't even be an issue because you can double fold the socks over. And then essentially the socks don't really ride up past an inch or so. The issue with blousing with your socks is if you have thin socks on a hot summer day, which is when you're more likely to encounter the ticks. The small ones specifically, can go through the socks. The little baby ticks will get through the weave of the socks and get on your skin, which is not bueno. That's why you want to have it to where there's not a separation between the pants ends and the beginning of your boot. Now, move on. Knee pad selection. You have three of sorts knee pads. External, any outie, which this black portion is inside, and the green portion, is outside the pants. Then you have inside. My preferred is inside, since I have the ability to sew and repair the fabric that gets damaged when I do this. The pants that I make have, when I do my knee pad reinforcement, is going to be a 2 or 3 layer, and the sections are on different rows of stitching so you can repair both sections or one section as needed. You don't have to go and rip all that stuff out, which is part of the reason why people don't fuck with Crye pants, right? So there's too much fabric on one section of stitching, and then they just rip it out, and it's too confusing to put it back together for a lot of people. So whatever. On these particularly, they work really well because they are the most flexible. They're the least padding, but they are the most flexible, which is the more important aspect for me because I want to be comfortable, and having a stiff knee pad is not comfortable. So that's the issue with these. These are basically the same shit. Same foam section, just with a green piece that's sewn on. That's it. If you need internal knee pads and you only find these, you can literally cut this green section off, cut the seam off. There's a little seam ripper right there. And it's the same shit. The foam right here where it's sewn is going to take a little bit to heal. If it ever fully heals, it may not. But it's essentially just an internal knee pad that they add some, or this kind of, yeah, this is just heat glued on or heated on and pressed on or whatever. But it's just hook right there. You can take that off too. Or you can just leave it, fuck it, whatever. It's going to hold on to the pants a little bit. It'll tear up the fabric, but it'll hold on in place, which is fine. So that's the only real difference between the two. But they are stiffer. That's because of this rubber section. Now these are the least desirable one, but if you have regular pants, if you can't afford pants that deal with knee pads naturally, these are a great option. What a lot of Marines did in Afghanistan is they would just let them hang down to their legs, their ankles, I mean, and when they had to take a knee, they would hit their knee really hard or hit their knees really hard, go in the prone or whatever. And then when they got a second, things calmed down, or things were calm the whole time, they would just slide this from their ankle to underneath their knee to give them that comforting little bit. Now these have a hard impact resistant polymer plastic on the outside, nice Cool Max style foam on the outside, and then an impact gel, rubberish gel right there on where your knee pad would be, where your not knee pad, your why am I blinking? Kneecap. That's where your kneecap would be. And it's good for those reasons. Now, when you have pants, you do have to create a little S-fold in the pants to make these comfortable if you're going to wear them. And that's not the most bueno thing. It's not comfortable. The S-fold's never fully comfortable, but you need to be comfortable being uncomfortable. That is an issue, but it is a minor issue. It will create hot spots and wear points. So just be wary of that, and don't be afraid to adjust. Don't just leave it to leave it. Adjust if you need to adjust. Try to figure out where your comfortability point is, because you need to learn that stuff by doing the stuff. All this clothing, all this military stuff, all this two-way style shit, hunting shit, everything. You need to do it so you learn all the little tiny things about yourself and your interactions with the gear. Okay? So, moving on from that shit. Let's go into pants selection. Jeans. Jeans are a great cheap option. These are regular Wrangler jeans. They're the cheapest ones. They're like all stiff when you buy them. They're not pre-washed or whatever. They are not comfortable to wear initially. You have to break them in, but they're like $20, and that's a great thing. They're great working jeans. They're really tough, and I can just throw them out and replace them when I need to. The dye on them is not bueno though for NIR compliance stuff. It doesn't blend in. It also doesn't blend in any sort of wooded environments, but they make different colored ones, different colored jeans that are brownish, grayish, different colored jeans that will blend in a lot better, but they aren't the best dyes by far. I haven't looked at some of the gray ones, or the grayish brown ones. I haven't looked at those through NIR, like night vision. Sorry, not NIR. through night vision to see how well they do, but not too bad. The belt loops are a weak point on them. Same thing with the tan, like Marpat utility pants. The belt points are a weak point, so you always can reinforce them. The stitching is reflective of sorts, but they are good. Nice fabric. Thorns don't really get through these, which is great if you live in a place that's got thorns, like mesquite brush and shit like that. Where you got thorny shit, or those thorny little seed things that get picked up. These are great at keeping you from getting poked a lot. But it's all pros and cons. Moving on. So the next one is the same style concept. It is a Duluth fire hose pant. As you can see, it's got heavier duty belt loops to begin with, a really nice thick rear one, but it's got less belt loops, which is fine. It's got regular Velcro enclosures and lots of pockets. The pockets get caught on things. With these, don't really get caught on things, but this hammer loop over here, because they are construction style pants, right here, gets caught on things. So, not the most ideal. Pockets aren't big either, and the zipper is brass, so it's smooth, but it gets gunked up by like debris really easily. But obviously these will blend in a lot better to the environment because they are a natural dirt color. This fire hose fabric also picks up a lot of those like little seed things, the little spike seed things. They pick up hella of those. So like when I go to take these off, if I go walk through the woods at all, or even walk through like low grass area, holy shit, if I'm not paying attention, I'm gonna have like 4 or 5 of those in my hand as I have just them sticking in my skin. So they're not the most ideal that way, but they're great pants. They're not crazy thick. They're thinner-ish than the jeans, but they're just as abrasive resistant and stuff. It is a fire hose material, so keep in mind, if it's going to stick to a fire hose, it's going to stick. But you can also paint these. Like these are your utility pants or whatever, or shooting pants or whatever. You can paint them really easily. They hold on to fucking paint real easily. One of my pants is kind of fucked up from painting, but whatever. They're great pants. They're on the more expensive side. All the Duluth stuff is, but it's just stepping up from there price-wise. I want to say these are like $50. You can get them on sales though for like 30 or so, or 40 or so. But those prices may be old because I bought these in 2001, 2020. Not 2001, 2021, 2020, one of those years. So yeah, great pants, great options. The next option is also a Duluth pant. And these are just rough ideas to what you can look for in different pants and stuff as you look for yourself. You don't have to, I'm not shilling for Duluth, not shilling for Wrangler pants or Marpat utility stuff. I'm just trying to give you guys ideas. These are dry on the fly pants. Flex dry on the fly. They're really soft. They're a nice thing. They don't do well under night vision. The dye on them is not super NIR, though I haven't looked at these specific ones. This is a newer year style, newer color. It's like Coyote. It's darker than both this is a Coyote top, but this Coyote top is pretty light colored compared to like actual Coyote Cordura fabric. And this is darker than regular Coyote Cordura, but not by much. But just to keep, there's a whole like 50 shades of FDE type shit. Yeah. The other pants have a big issue with this section right here getting caught on shit too, which this is a zipper opening into the cargo pocket. So you can get into your pants while you're sitting down. I didn't like this feature at all. But it's got nice utility style zippers for outdoor and getting dirty. These pants also dry really quickly. They're pretty breezy. They're comfortable. You can get a breeze through them, which I like. I also don't care about getting wet because they dry super quickly. But they're thinner too, so external knee pads are also great. But anything that's sharp, any sort of thorn, goes right through this shit. It does not work. But they're great for everything else. They are a two-way stretch fabric. Not four-way. Two-way. It's the difference. Two-way only allows stretch going two directions, left, right, up, down. And then four ways, left, right, and up, down, just so you guys understand. So yeah, keep in mind they don't generally rip in that thing. Also, they are all the Wrangler, the Duluth, and these are all triple stitched on a wider seam, which is, I really like that. The Marine Corps ones are double stitch over an S seam. This is also an S seam, but it's triple stitched. But the Marine Corps uses a little bit thicker thread and tighter dispersion between the individual holes. So which one's stronger, nobody knows. I can't physically tell. I've not had either fail, so it doesn't matter. Kind of a marketing gimmick, but at the same time, it's something you want. You would rather not have just double stitched bullshit. Like if it looks like it's weak, it's probably weak. If it's got like an eighth of an inch between each stitch and it's only double stitch, don't try to wear those in any sort of rugged environment. Moving on to or pulling the utilities back out. Pulling the utilities back out. These are just regular Marpet utilities. These are my ones from the Crucible back when I was $130. I weighed nothing. I didn't really get much food in boot camp, but yeah, these rip off super easily. I hate these. That's why I replaced them on my pants. I should go through those in a second. When you get these, it's nice to get like a little hand sewing kit. Try to reinforce the belt loops or have a sewing machine and reinforce the belt loops. Put some extra stitching over the actual buttons and do all that stuff. The cargo pockets are nice. I will admit that those are really nice. The material is really durable, stiff. It doesn't allow for a lot of punctures and stuff. I like it. It's not the most bueno, but it works great. They're good options. You can get them for cheap sometimes. I don't recommend RIT dye to try to get these. Try to do the ASU trick with these with RIT dye, because RIT dye is not NIR compliant as much as no matter what the internet says. If you dye your stuff and you look at it through NVGs, shit glows one color. This is RIT dye. This shit glows one color. So this was an experiment with an Arc'teryx gray balaclava. It does not. I will not wear this stuff outside the videos. So I have another one that I bought that's just green. That's what the main one I'm going to be using for shit. But military pants work great. Use them if you can get them. Whatever. You can also buy combat pants for a little bit more expensive, but depending on who makes them and how much they're worn in, they're still going to be the same price as like a good working pant, and the working pant usually will serve you better. You do have to wear external knee pads for all that shit. I don't have cry pants here with me, but yeah. Now, going into my Fraubat pants, these are Generation 1s. I'm moving into Generation 2. I'm currently working on a pair of Generation 2 for myself to test and see the improvements I made. I've slowly been making gradual improvements, kind of how like Duluth does throughout their years, where they don't tell you what's improved on the pants, but they've improved the pants in some way, shape, or form. Doing the same thing. Like these, I've already had the rolling improvement on the belt loops. The original belt loops were skinnier. They had the stitching, didn't have any fail, But I didn't like how the stitching was allowed for belt movement. For the I tried to get it to where you can go like 2.5-inch belt loops, and nobody has 2.5-inch belts for inner belts, so it was kind of a pointless mod. So I shrunk that down, and I essentially just made the stitching a lot wider so it spreads the load out more. I also made the belt loops thicker around everywhere, and I made them proportionally sized. So like front ones are thick, the very back one's thick, it's the thickest, and they get thinner as the load on the belt loop gets less. So that's the whole purpose of that. They also have elastic inside the waist as well, but that comes standard. Other improvement I made is I went with a more poly blend. Like this is mostly cotton comparatively to poly, so it doesn't have much elastic property, but it also is more prone to ripping, which is part of the reason these essentially stretch stops came in. These are covers, but they also stop from overstretching the material. So that's why these exist. It keeps this material safe and it doesn't ruin anything. Also, you can see how poorly this edging is done. This was a test pant. The final products don't actually look like this. I do the edging a lot better. They actually have a fold rather than this being open end, so just so you guys are clear on that. But these are great. These take the internal cry knee pads, the internal ones or external ones. You can throw those in here too. I don't recommend them because there's not a lot of knee space naturally in these pants, because these are regular utility pants modded. They're heavier than frogs. They last longer than frogs, but they don't have as much issues. You can also see here, you can see there's a double over padding, and then there's the underside. So there's 3 layers of fabric on the knees themselves that create a really durable cover. And you can replace all of them. You can replace a single section at a time as needed when you rip them up, which was the main point of having that stuff. You replace the section comes out with these little bar tack sections for the eyelets, for the adjustment on the height of the knee pad. So that works great too. But yeah, it's just a pant of sort. Like, I'm doing rolling improvements on these, and as the rolling improvements get out, there's going to be more options and stuff, and the pants will get more expensive. But one of the next rolling improvement is actually going to be built-in blousing that has mosquito net in there as well, and the mosquito net can be tied away to where you can adjust it to just have the fabric for the mosquito net as the blousing. So that's for tick areas. If you live in a ticking area, or you're going from a hot jungle area to a tick-filled environment, so that way you don't have ticks crawling past your blousing jungle mesh cover onto your leg. So hopefully that helps you decide on pants. The last little bit of fitting advice: if you go to the gym, you have big thighs, you squat 450. Yeah, don't be willy-nilly with ignoring your thigh size and your calf size. Pay attention to that stuff. If you need to upsize your pants to fit those things so you don't have hot spots, do that rather than suffer the waist. You can always tailor the waist end. You can't add fabric to the thighs and calves. So always buy pants that fit your legs if you have fat legs or thick legs, legs from gym or whatever. Do that. Don't buy based solely on your waist size. So with your pants selection, just be careful. I can do a lot to your pants. If you need work done, go ahead, hit me up on Instagram. I'll gladly get you guys situated. Depending on what my workload is like, I can get small jobs in and out. If it's only going to take me a few hours, I can get you in and out pretty quickly. But a lot of my stuff is larger jobs that are week-long jobs on modifying sets of clothing, multiple garments, or shit like that. So just keep in mind when I do that stuff. So thanks for watching. Catch you guys on the flip side. Be safe. Thanks. Also, like and subscribe if you enjoy this content. You can catch the other previous videos. I've been waiting to say that because I wanted to see how well everything works. But if you enjoy the content that's already been on the channel, go ahead, hit like and subscribe. You can get post notifications too if you're not on Instagram. If you're on my Instagram, it's the worst pogue. It's the same name. You can go ahead and get notifications that way, because I'll post on my story when I post a video on YouTube, and that way y'all can stay up to date on this info I put out, which I don't do this because I like to hear myself talk. Truthfully, I'm tired of it already. It's like 4 o'clock in the morning. I started doing 2 videos at 1 o'clock, and shit's tiring. I don't do this for myself. I don't want to do this for myself, and I don't enjoy it for myself. So I do this to get this information out rather than let it go to waste in my noggin. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks again. Like and subscribe if you liked it. If you didn't like it, tell me what you have issue with the video or content or how it's presented, and I'll see what I can to fix it. Just hit it up down in the comments, and won't be any issues. But yeah, appreciate it.